Hello and welcome to this episode of the No Gimmicks Just Sweat podcast. First, thank you for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you're listening. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram at No Gimmicks Just Sweat. No Gimmicks Just Sweat was started to showcase people from all walks of life sharing their particular fitness journeys. Everyone has a different story, and everyone has a different reason behind their journey. Hopefully these stories will not only inspire you, but also help you aspire to heights you've never thought possible. Again, thank you for listening, and now, let's get it started. Hello, and welcome to the No Gimmicks Just Sweat podcast. And today we have Danny Tolliver on our show. Danny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am wonderful. Great, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. So let's break the ice a little bit. I'm going to throw out a couple of questions for you. All right?
Okay.
All right. Train in the morning or train in the evening?
Train in the morning. Early morning.
Early morning. How early?
About 4:30. 5 o'clock.
Okay. You're a man after my own heart. All right. Cardio training or strength training?
Both. I'll split it up. I might do cardio early morning, and I do strength training like in the afternoons, right after work.
Okay. Good way to do. All right, run on the treadmill or run outside?
Run on the treadmill. Hate running outside.
Really?
Man, I do not like running outside. Now, I done a lot of, half marathons, 5Ks. I did 2 ultras, and I love running on trails.
Okay.
But my time this year, I either run on the treadmill, and that's it, man. I mean, when I do my races this year, of course, I have to run outside. But when I train, I rather train on the treadmill.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, you're the second treadmill person I've had. All right, ride inside on Zwift or ride outside?
My Swift, man, my Swift. I love that Zwift. And for me, it's harder because I can go outside and ride all day long, and but when I ride that Swift, man, it's like it pulls something out of me.
Okay. All right, favorite segment in a duathlon: run or bike?
Bike.
If you can go on a run or ride or train with any celebrity or famous person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, let me see. I would say Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Or better yet, Ronnie Coleman. I would like to.
Okay, Ronnie Coleman. All right, last one. Dream location to run or ride? Anywhere in the world.
Ride, I would say California.
Any particular place in California?
Just by the coastline. I would like to ride by the coastline.
Oh, sweet. All right. So as we get started on our shows, we want to start with your story. And I always think of it as like your origin story. Like you're a superhero, which we're all superheroes in our own, part. But you are a superhero. What's your origin story of who you were to who you are now?
Okay, who I were was a little overweight when I was young because I didn't really think about, my eating habits. And so I got a little overweight, and that stayed with me for a while. And then started bodybuilding in 2008. And that's when I did my first competition in 2008 in Knoxville, Tennessee. And that kind of led me that really led me to getting into biking and running, really running first. And then from running, I'm like, man, these duathlons and triathlons. So I wanted to do a triathlon, but I don't like swimming. So when they came up with run, bike, run, I'm like, man, yeah, I want to do that. So that's how I got into that. Well, how I really started is when McKee Bakery, where my wife works, they offered an Ironman. They offered for them to be on the Ironman. And I'm like, man, I like to do that. And so we got a team together, and three of us, one bike, one swim, one ran. And that's how I got into the Ironman.
Okay.
And that just led me into today where I that doing all that started helping me lose weight. Then I became a vegan and went from there.
Okay. So you've competed in Ironmans before, right?
Yes. But I only done relays. I never done one by myself.
Okay, go. The question I was going to ask you, okay, what do you identify more as? I know, based upon, your IG username that is duathlon.
Yeah.
But, is you kind of, how can I put it? Usually when I find people who are triathletes that are doing duathlon, it's usually from like an injury. And be like, yeah, I can't get in the water and swim, so I'm going to do a duathlon this time. Or, something like that.
Yeah.
So you are tried and true a duathlete.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, because I can get in a pool, but I don't think I want to try that open water. I just never had no, I got to do this. I got to do this. I just never had that. I rather run, bike, run any day of the week.
Yeah, you and I kind of thinking on the same wavelength. Again, nothing against triathletes or triathlon or anything. And like you, I can get in the pool all day and have fun,
Yeah.
Play around, go to a pool party, have fun, splash around in the water, swim from one end of the pool to the other. But open water swimming with several hundred other people.
Yeah, that's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Now, when when COVID hit and Ironman came out with the duathlon series,
yes,
that you can go outside and do it, I did 12 of those.
Yep.
And they was different ones. I even did a 70.3, which was a run, bike, run. And that was my first 70.3 Ironman that I done by myself. And then next thing you know, I started doing them like every weekend. They started having a different one every weekend. And I would get up, like I said, I would train during the week, get up on the weekend, and start out early that morning on the Saturday morning, and sometimes finish that afternoon. And then sometimes they would let you do so much a day, and then you finish the next day. But a lot of them I did the same day.
Okay, and I've done the ones that are you've done the Ironman ones, and I know I've done the ones that are like the virtual run, bike, run through USA Triathlon.
Okay, yeah. I signed up for that one.
But yeah, I just finished mine last week.
Did you?
Yep.
How you do?
I thought they're pretty good. I looked at the rankings and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm so in the rankings, but I'm like, it's not like it's a race. It's more virtual.
Yes.
Just as long as you complete the mileage. So I'm like,
yeah. I didn't know that you couldn't have a triathlon bike, a TriBike doing that. And the one I signed up before COVID hit, I had to get one of my TriBikes converted to a road bike. Yeah. And then COVID hit, and so I couldn't do it at all. But that's okay. I got a road bike, and now I got a TriBike.
Oh, nice. All right, so let's talk about training for a moment.
Okay.
All right, so what does a week of training for you look like?
Week of training, probably maybe 3 to 4 hours, 5 hours a week during the week, and that's because I got to go to work. So I'll train. If I don't hit training in the morning, I'll hit it in the afternoon. Okay. And then the weekend is my long run, my long runs and rides. So I might do 25 to 30 miles on the weekend.
Okay. That's on the bike, right?
Yes, that's on the bike.
Okay.
yeah, because running, I might do a 5K, something like that. Or I might not run at all during that week.
Okay. I was like, oh, you do 25 miles on the road, really?
No.
I like you the man. All right. When you train, are you self-coached, or do you have a coach, or have you had a coach before?
No, never had a coach. I'm just self-coached.
Okay. Now last year we had the pandemic.
Yes.
Everything kind of got discombobulated and changed out. How did that affect you as far as your training, and as far as being an athlete?
It didn't affect me at all, man, because long as I had my Swift, I that's when I signed up for all them Ironmans and started doing them weekly. So to me, by me having that, it kept me going, and it didn't have me just sitting around doing nothing.
Right.
So it kept me active, very active.
So do you have a race coming up this year?
Yes, I have of course, the Ironman is May the 23rd.
Okay.
And then I have the a duathlon here in Chattanooga. It's called the Chattanooga Waterfront.
Okay.
And then I have the one in was it what's that? The one that you just done, but it's another park down there.
Don Carter.
Yeah, Don Carter.
Don Carter.
Yeah, I have that one coming up in I think it's in the 23rd, I believe.
Yeah, I think August. Yeah, I think that's in August. Yeah.
And then I have a road race, which is the Chattanooga Marathon, because I'm the Chattanooga Marathon Ambassador.
Okay.
So I got it coming up it's in November.
Okay.
Yeah. They moved it from March to November because of COVID, so they moved it on down some. And I hadn't signed up for any more. I probably signed up for some duathlons in between that, which I know I have some that I signed up for 2020, and they probably moved over to 2021, but I think they like in September and October. I know it's a couple. I think I got one in Knoxville, and I think I got one in Alabama.
Okay. Well, and since we're talking about, races, like I said, I'm very familiar with events here in Georgia.
Yes.
What does it look like in Tennessee? Because you're up in Chattanooga. Have I done one in Alabama? I've never done one in Alabama.
Okay.
Pretty much, the only time I've gone out of state is for a duathlon. It's pretty much been for the national championship.
Okay. I know I got Callaway Gardens also.
Right.
I do that every year. For Tennessee, it's not many here, man. I mean, in Chattanooga, it's not. There's some in Cleveland, a couple in Cleveland, and I know, like you said, a couple in Alabama. But for my hometown, it's really the only thing I look forward to is either the Ironman or the Chattanooga Waterfront. I wish they would bring more here.
Well, and that leads to this, but how can duathlons become more popular and recognized here in the United States? I wrote a blog post a couple of weeks back, and I was talking with someone that's in Europe.
Uh-huh.
And if you follow the sport, you kind of see that, where like triathlons here are very popular. Ironman and just and triathlons are an Olympic sport. But if you notice in Europe, duathlons are just as popular.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, they're not super popular here in the States.
Now, and when COVID first hit and Ironman started doing those, I don't know why they just don't come here with. I mean, if they do a duathlon for their things, man, there'd be a lot of people, a lot of duathletes that'll do those.
Yeah.
I mean, they do them virtually. Why not just make them live? I mean, you have them live when we have to go out and do it, ourselves.
Well, just to kind of give you an example, the national championship, there might be, on average, 900 to 1,000 participants.
Okay.
So, I with USA Triathlon, what I've got to see, I know triathlon, that's their bread and butter. And, I don't think that, and then again, this is my opinion, they don't see a huge profit in duathlons.
Mm-hmm.
Because generally, like I said, most of the people I see participate in duathlon are the same people I've been seeing for the past couple of years.
Okay.
At least down here in Georgia, I don't see that many brand new people. And the new people I do see, they're generally trying it out to kind of get their feet wet before, they step into the triathlon side of things.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'd rather do a duathlon any day of the week.
Yeah, and I just had a duathlon this past weekend, and I was talking with a young man afterwards, and he was asking me how my race was. I was like, yeah, it was a little tough. It was great and stuff. And he started talking about, yeah, well, how was that swim? I was like, well, I did duathlon, not the triathlon. And he looked at me. He said, you ran that course twice? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, more power to you, brother. He was like, more power to you.
Yeah, some people like, well, I can get the swim done and it's easy, and then I just do the bike and the run. But to me, I mean, the running first don't bother me at all.
Right. And this is me. My opinion of it is, and again, to the triathletes out there listening, this says nothing against you guys and gals. I do think the duathlon is a much tougher and more competitive event than a triathlon because of the fact that you have 2 runs. You're pretty much beating up your legs.
Yeah.
Through 3 segments.
Yeah, you are. They had a half iron and they didn't bring it back in Callaway Gardens. I was going to do that one, which was I don't know why they didn't bring it back. I wish they would, because I was ready for that. That's what I was training for.
I don't think it's coming back. I did it 1 year.
Okay.
I think last year it was scheduled last year, but then COVID happened.
Yes.
And so just like everything was canceled.
Yep.
I heard it was supposed to come back this year, and they did have it on the calendar at one point, but I think it was for the fall.
Okay.
But then I don't see it on there anymore, so I don't know what the situation with that is.
Yeah, because they gave me my money back on it, but of course the other duathlon, they rolled it over, which when we done that one down in Callaway Gardens, man, that was nice. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I'm doing it again this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing the sprint at Callaway Gardens and the sprint that's in the Chattahoochee River.
Okay, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So let's kind of pivot back a little bit.
Okay.
So when you got started as a duathlete, what were you, a runner first or a cyclist?
I was a runner first.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I rode a bike, which I had a Trek 1000.
Okay.
And I brought it from a gentleman at the police department for $200. And man, I actually still have it. I put new tires on it, new handlebars, everything.
Okay.
So it's heavy, but yeah, that was my first bike. And so then when I knew I was doing an Ironman, I went out and brought a TriBike.
Okay.
But yeah, I was a runner first, because I did my first half marathon in 2015 for the Chattanooga Marathon.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my first marathon. My first run I ever done was a 1K. One of those when you run through, they start throwing paint and stuff. Not paint, but the dye on you. I forgot.
Okay.
It was a color run.
The color run.
Yeah.
Color run.
That was a 1K. And so I done that. That was my first one I ever done. And then after that, man, I started, doing the 5K, and the next thing you know, 2015, I done my first half marathon.
Okay. So, so do you prefer running or duathlon? If you had to choose one sport.
Duathlon.
Duathlon.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to think the best way to word this. So if you choose duathlon, how far do you see yourself going with that?
What you mean, like the amount I can run, or
to a particular level, and that's one of the questions I get asked by a lot of people. Unlike triathletes, triathletes can go, and become pro and elite. Well, we really don't have that on.
Oh yeah,
duathlete side. So it's more of we keep going until we reach a certain point. I know with me, one of my goals is to try to be able to compete in the world championships. That's one of the reasons why I compete at nationals.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm trying to go with.
Yeah, I never thought that far with it. I mean, I enjoyed doing them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just going to keep going and going until I couldn't go no longer. But
Okay.
hey, that is a good goal to shoot for, to try to, improve my running abilities and also my biking abilities to get faster and faster.
Okay. And let's talk about Zwift for a moment.
Okay.
So, why do you like Zwift so much?
It pushes me.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes, man, I just be ready to quit. It's especially when you hit those hills, like those different routes. That's just, and it seems like you riding forever and not going anywhere. But yet, I mean, I can ride like the mountain route, which is like 34 miles, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the house, I have to change clothes twice. That's how much sweat is coming off my body.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've played around with Zwift once when I got my new trainer. I replaced my old kicker snap with one of the newer ones.
Yes.
And I think, let me try this Zwift one day. I tried it once and I was like, And again, I'm not against it. I'm one of those people. I prefer to ride outside. And I think it's because I live in a rural area, so I can kind of take my bike and go somewhere.
Yeah.
And I can kind of understand it from someone who might be in an area that can't go outside and ride their bike, because of traffic, and other safety measures and stuff. But for me, I just hadn't got into it yet. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you need to get into it. You need to get into it."
Yeah, I'm on level 26, man.
Oh, it has levels?
Oh yeah, you go all the way up to 50 levels, and you get different, different things. See, you got different routes. I mean, I shoot for routes I try to accomplish. I'm on all the larger routes now, which I think the largest one is like 107 miles. But yes, different routes, different, and you got your training on there too, where you can set up your own training to, to improve your skills. But now here, we do have Enterprise South Park, and I can go up there and ride. I don't have to worry about the cars.
Okay.
And if I go anywhere else, it has to be way out, like Chickamauga, Georgia. And by the time I get home from work, rack my bike up, get way out there, it's about half dark.
Oh yeah.
Now I can rack my bike up and go to Enterprise South, and that's why I do train on the hills up there. I do go up there on the weekends.
Okay.
But if I know I want to try to knock out a route, I might do it Friday night or Saturday night, and then sometimes I'll still go Enterprise South Saturday morning, and ride.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about you mentioned that you were vegan.
Yes.
So you became a vegan right before you started becoming an athlete or afterwards?
After. I started a vegan after. What happened was my son became one first, and then because he's just 26, and so then my wife had lupus, so every time she eats meat, she will swell. So
wow.
And so it was just bothering them. So I'm like, man, I want to keep cooking. Because I used to cook my hamburgers and hot dogs and all that. I'm like, well, I don't want to be like just making them smell this good food while they, why and they can't eat it. Right. So then I start thinking, maybe if I did get off the beef, because I got off the beef first. Right when I got off the beef, I started dropping weight.
Yep.
And so I was like, man, so people always say you got to have all this protein and all this and that. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay. So I stayed with the chicken. So I was still eating chicken and baked chicken, and fried chicken occasionally. And so then after that, I stopped eating that and started finding different ways to cook my vegetables. So I started grilling vegetables and making up I was just making up all kind of foods, man, And so that's how, and then after that, I didn't really miss meat anymore.
Right.
I mean, I can eat it, but I choose not to. And then I choose, just to, it don't bother me if I smell it, put it like that. Smells good, but it don't bother me. It like it used to when I first stopped.
So if I invite you down to the barbecue, you're going to be all right.
Oh yeah, I'll be good. Just give me some good old fries or baked potato or whatever, you know.
I hear you. I hear you.
Cabbage steaks. You heard of cabbage steaks?
Haven't heard of cabbage steaks. Haven't heard of that.
Yeah, just take a cabbage and cut it in slices and put all your spices and stuff on it, put it on the grill. It's delicious, man.
Yeah. So you're gonna have me trying something and then going to
Man,
my wife and like, hey, try this with me.
I can cook all kind of stuff for you, man. You're like, man, I didn't even. Have you ever had any of the Impossible Burgers?
Oh yes, I love them. Oh,
Yeah. So now I do eat those. I eat
Yeah.
the Impossible Burgers and the Beyond Burgers. I like the Impossible Burgers better. So
Okay, that was gonna be my next question. Which do you like better, the Impossible Burger or the Beyond Burger?
I like the Impossible Burger.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of people are like, oh, they taste. I'm like, I say I do not notice a difference in the taste.
Yeah. Yeah. Way I cook mine, by the time I put my grilled onions and peppers and all that on it, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah, like I said, once you put your normal condiments and stuff on it, I haven't yet to eat between both of them. I've never tasted the difference. Now, before the Impossible and Beyond, meat burgers came, when they had like the veggie burgers?
Veggie burgers, black bean burgers.
Yeah, I could taste the difference in that.
Yeah, you can taste the difference in those. Yeah.
And it was a different texture as you chewed it too, as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I was making them up, trying to make one and kept just different things. I'm like, man, this just don't taste like a burger though.
Right.
So
how do you fuel before races?
What I usually do, I use I drink the Body Armor.
Okay.
I eat the granola bars.
Okay.
And normally I drink a lot of water, but before a race, the night before I might eat spaghetti.
Okay, you like me. Yep, I cooked pasta before.
Mm-hmm. So I'll fill up with that.
I know before, as I do my quote unquote, the pandemic started and we couldn't eat out anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to, Olive Garden. That was my thing. I would go get a big giant bowl of fettuccine.
Okay, yeah.
That would be my before race day meal.
Yes.
And I've tried to take out, and I'm like, it just ain't the same.
Yeah, it just ain't, yeah.
So I was like, I might as well just fix my own at home.
Yeah, because I used to try to do like those bros, man, but that didn't hold me to, that was gone that night. So I'm like, let me fix some pasta, maybe a piece of bread, when I was eating bread. Because normally when I was doing that, I was running. For the biking part, I still would do the pasta, but not as much,
Okay. So let's go back and talk about your bike. What type of bike do you use now for your racing?
I have for the tries, I have a Scott bike.
Okay.
And then my other bike is a Kestrel.
Okay. What's your go-to running shoe?
Asics.
Asics, okay. Uh-huh. No Hoka? No.
I never tried Hoka. I never tried those. I heard they was pretty good though.
I have to throw Hoka in, because I'm an ambassador for Hoka.
Okay.
And Hoka was the shoe that really kept me running. Because I tried several different shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this was when I was still a little bit overweight.
Okay.
And I think I tried Nike first, because everybody was like, "Oh, get a Nike." Yeah, couldn't do it.
Yeah, I did a Nike too. It kind of tore my feet up, man.
And then I was recommended ASIC was the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept having shin splints and stuff with it.
Oh man.
And then someone recommended the Hokas, and that's why and I've been with Hoka ever since.
Okay. Yeah, I might have to try those then.
Yeah, definitely try. I always tell people, try it out. I say, you never know. Some people have tried and like, oh wow, where's this shoe been? All my life. Other people like, it still ain't there. All right, so let's talk about. This is kind of a twofold question.
Okay.
Your proudest moment as an athlete, and then your worst moment or biggest mistake as an athlete.
My proudest moment is when I completed my first half marathon.
Okay.
And my biggest mistake is when I did a ultra marathon and I didn't train for it.
Oh, let's talk about the ultra. Okay, you did an ultra marathon.
Yeah, I did it on the was so bad. I did it on the trail. Like it took forever to finish.
Well, that's kind of the first thing I want to ask you, was it a 30-mile ultra, or was it a 50-mile ultra, or 100-mile ultra?
It was a 50-miler.
Oh, okay. So, but you just want to have a long period of time to kind of go through it. That's one of the things, and that's one of the things I'm starting to learn about trail running, especially when you start getting into ultra distances. You're not focused on a time speed per se, a particular pace, as you would be on the road.
Yeah, you got to really watch, because you got to watch those stumps, and
Yep.
You got to pick those feet up. And you start getting tired, those feet going to start getting heavy.
Yep.
And this particular one I done, which I should have trained better for and I didn't. But what happened was I done a 5K that morning, right? So I done a 5K that morning. Then I turned around. So we turned around and drove to the next place and to do it. We started 5K started like 7 that morning, finished up, and then we started the ultra like at 10 o'clock. I didn't finish till like 8 o'clock that night.
But you finished, right?
Yeah, I finished.
Oh, see, that's the important thing. You finished.
Yeah, I finished. I was tired, but I finished.
And how many days did you have to rest up after that?
Oh, probably like 3-4 days after that, because I was hurting, man. I couldn't even hardly walk the next day. I didn't even want to see another trail.
And again, that's actually one of my goals, is to complete an ultra.
Okay.
And a lot of people kind of go like, "Hey, you're crazy. Why would you want to do that?" And because to be honest, I've never ran a marathon. And for me, I've just never had a desire to do a full marathon. Half marathon? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done about 14, 15 half marathons. But I've never said like, okay, I want to go out and do a marathon. But for some strange reason, I have this urge like, yeah, I want to do an ultra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 26 miles. Nah, give me 30 miles. Yeah.
And I did an all-nighter in Canton, Georgia.
Okay.
And man, it rained and then it stopped, right? And when it stopped, was great. But half the trail was trail, and then you go through grass and then back in the trail. So when you go through the grass, it was just muddy, just wet and muddy. It was, but you had 24 hours to finish how many miles you needed to finish. I mean, you want to do 6, you stop at 6. If you want to try to do 30, 100, go for it, But you had from, I think, Saturday morning to Sunday morning.
Okay.
To finish.
Okay.
And then you camp out. I mean, you bring your tent, you set your tent up. That's where your food is. You stop, you grab your food, you keep going, because you're going through a timer every time you come around. So they was keeping up with how many times you hit that timer.
Laps. Okay.
Yeah, those laps. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, kind of going back to the duathlon a little bit, what would you say to someone who was interested in trying duathlon or just trying multi-sport altogether? How would you, kind of encourage someone to give it a try? Because again, like we were talking about earlier, duathlon doesn't have that shine like triathlon.
Yeah.
People hear multi-sport, they think triathlon, they want to do that. But one of the things that I always recommend to people is that, duathlon is a good way to kind of, test it out a bit to see if this is something you want to do.
Yeah, I would encourage them by, telling them to sign up for a smaller one first.
Mm-hmm.
To see how they like it, like 1K, maybe 10-mile bike, and then 5K at the end. and just see how they like it, and and I would also explain to them, make it fun. Don't make it where, man, I got to go out here and do this, and just make it where you compete against yourself to see how good you can do, and just make it a fun thing to do, not nothing that you have to win or try to come in a certain place. You can do all that if you like the first time you do it, to see if you really like it.
Right. So, and kind of adding to that, so what is your message to people who say that, it's too late to start? I'll be 50 this year. And when I started with duathlons, I was in, my mid 40s. And, a lot of times you hear people like, oh, it's too late for me to start running. It's too late for me to start this. What would be your message to them?
I'll say it's never too late to start. Even the run, if you want to, you can do a couch to 5K. I'll be 56 this year. So, yeah, I would say it's never too late to run. Do a 1K, do a couch to 5K. Just go out there and do a run walk. You don't have to run the whole. I believe people act like they have to run the whole race. You can do a run walk and complete it. Because a lot of people, I had some guys last year run with me doing the 5K, and they done a run walk and completed it and was happy. Like, man, I didn't know. But once they got out there, they seen other people walking.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody wasn't running. Everybody don't run. You're not gonna win. So them guys at 16 to 17 that take off real fast. Well, if you ain't gonna keep up with them, you're not gonna beat them.
Right.
So just run at your pace. Run the way your body tells you to run. Okay. But train first.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, you can't just wake up in the morning like, you know what, there's a 5K. I'm gonna sign up for it and go do it.
Yeah, because you'll hurt yourself.
Yeah, you will. All right. So how do you want to be remembered as an athlete?
I want to be remembered as the guy that when he went out to do anything for his duathlons, he never gave up. And they can look at my track record and everything and like, hey, he didn't give up. And people that know me know I just don't give up. They know I'll keep going. Sometimes they even have to tell me to sit down because I'm going too much. So I want to be remembered as just that person and be like a role model for somebody who, just be a role model for somebody. Just, don't give up. Just keep it moving.
Okay. All right. So what is a non-athletic fact about you that most people don't know? It'd be like a hobby or what, just something about you that people don't know anything about.
That let me see, everybody know I'm a computer technician. So a lot of people, well, I'm thinking a lot of people, well, first I'm going to say kind-hearted, but a lot of people know I'm kind-hearted. I'll give you anything that I have that you need. Everybody knows I'm a IT manager. A lot of people don't know that I'm a photographer. They see my pictures, but they think I'm just taking pictures, but they don't know that's one of my side jobs is a photographer.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Yes, okay. Okay, so you can take the pictures, so you can have your own setup and take your pictures in a race.
The race, the races I don't run, I'm there taking other people pictures for them.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. A lot of people don't know I'm a hiker too. I love to hike to waterfalls and take pictures.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I love hiking.
All right. As we come to the end, what's next for you? Are you, what are you training for? Are you getting ready for anything, races? I think we may have touched on this a little bit more earlier.
Yeah, so I'm getting ready for the IRONMAN, which is May the 23rd here in Chattanooga.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm getting ready for at the same time, the Chattanooga Waterfront, which is here. And then that duathlon in Georgia in August.
Okay. All right. Danny, thanks for being on the show.
Man, thank you for having me.
Hey, how can people get in touch with you or follow you online?
Oh, they can follow me online by going to duathlete_DJT on Instagram.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you being on the show.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate
All right.
it.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right. And that's it for this episode of No Gimmicks, Just Sweat. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for your support, and until next time, keep crushing your goals.